Hey, you! What you gonna do? What you gonna do when I save my game? Again. Man, I get very paranoid about my saves when I'm recording. Hey, I have some questions.
It doesn't have better things to do.
Are those crystals in your skin?
I like to think of them as accessories.
But what do they do?
I suspect that it is an art that was practiced when golems were more, commonplace. My former master collected whatever lore he could find on the subject. He searched far and wide to collect what crystals he could and then added them. It is not an unpleasant sensation.
So, they're decoration?
As I understand it, the crystals allow me to alter the flow of magic around me. Wilhelm had hoped to turn me into a battery of mana, something he could tap at will.
But they can do other things too?
Some of the crystals increase the presence of mana, some absorb or reflect spells. There are various kinds. All I can promise is that should it ever find one of these crystals, I can likely tell it the function and what it would do if added to me.
Would you be willing to have more added?
Why not? I don't get to wear clothing and other adornments like the rest of you creatures after all. That answers its question, I assume? Unless it has more.
Yes. I'm told you killed your former master.
Oh, how interesting. Certainly I remember having a master. My memories of what happened to him are vague.
Vague, but non-existent. But not non-existent.
Clever and true. Oh, very well. Let me see what I can recall.
Damn straight.
My former master enjoyed experimenting upon me. I remember that much. There was tinkering with spells and then the crystals. He was very eager to alter my function, I think.
Alter you? Why? You're as fine as you are.
Flattery, and obvious flattery too. I feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Aren't you always warm and fuzzy inside?
Rod, and back then, it would have prevented me from doing anything he did not command me to, no matter how I might have wished to. So what happened? I am unsure. He was experimenting, and then nothing.
Are you sure? Nothing at all?
There was pain. I do not feel it as soft creatures do, so the memory is an odd one. And then he was gone. I was standing where I was, in the village, and I could no longer move. The villagers came, poked and prodded me in fear, and then realized they could neither move me nor destroy me. So they simply left me.
Why do I imagine them hitting them with like
I
mallets and
stood
stuff?
there all along.
And then the mallets just break in their hand. It's like, get rid of this demon! Oh my god, it backfired into my face! Oh, I can't see! Alright, get the chisel! Are you stupid? If you did that, you die! But what are we gonna do? Throw eggs at it, that's all we can do! Damn it, I'm out of eggs! Throw birds! Yeah. That must have been terrible, I'm sorry.
In fact, at first I found it more of a relief. For so many years I'd had to leap to that little toadstool's every command. Get this, pick up that, put it down, pick it up again. The gall! At first I'd hoped he'd simply decided to leave me there paralyzed, an acceptable trade-off. After years passed, I simply stopped caring.
Sounds like you had a good rest.
I think I was ready to move on. Another few years and the moss would have covered my face. And then where would I have been? Whatever the mage
Museum?
did seemed to render the control rod useless, for which I should be thankful, yes? And provided it doesn't decide to copy his experiments, not that I would allow it, it is nothing to fear from me. Much.
Sounds good to me.
The things that it fights, and it fights things often, that is a different story. Let us get back to the walking and the fighting. My stone is beginning to itch again.
Minor strength. Ooh, plus 16. Nice. Well, Shale, it's a good thing I've got some stuff for you. Where are you? There you are, you're below the dog. Ooh. Birdie.
Ah, I see it found some of the crystals that I told it about. Well done. So, what does it think? They don't make me look any wider, do they? I find I'm already too wide as it is.
No, they're quite slimming.
It must be the vertical pattern it put them in. Did it know to do that? It must have. I think it should find some more as soon as possible. I want to glitter from ear to ear, so to speak.
Great.
I've watched a lot of humans in my time. It should be aware that I've decided that it is not much like any of them.
Because I'm not human?
Oh, it's not just that. Well, I'm sure that's part of it, but it's not only that. Surely it must come from some superior lineage, yes? Some breed of flesh creature that has decided to elevate its genetic stock above its natural shortcomings?
I'm a castless and an exile. Is that what you meant?
Then that must be it. My experience with dwarves is limited, but obviously I need to encounter more of them. I would appreciate if it didn't spread around that I said anything. Humans might start to get the wrong idea. They might start thinking their race is not completely hopeless.
Yeah, I'll keep it to myself.
Now, let us crush something into a fine paste before it starts to think I've gone all soft. Perish the thought.
You're alright, Shale.
It speaks.
Let's have a question.
It doesn't have better things to do.
How did you end up in Honleith? Do you remember?
Oh yes, that I remember quite well. My former master, the Mage Wilhelm, he brought me. As I recall, he had acquired some position with whatever lord ruled the land. I, being little more than a glorified possession at the time, was brought along. Oh, how he enjoyed impressing the villagers with me. Gollum Snarler, that villager there, be fearsome. And of course, I would have to do it.
You didn't like this, Wilhelm, I take it?
He did love using that control rod. Fondled it so much, his wife actually threatened to throw it in the lake. I would have liked to have seen that. Which reminds me, where did it find the rod? Did it pay a great deal for it?
Wilhelm's wife sold it, I believe.
Hag.
But, why were you out in front of the tower?
That is where Wilhelm kept me. He wanted me out in the open where I could be frightening like a scarecrow. I was supposed to watch for thieves. Plus, his wife didn't want me indoors. She said there wasn't room for me. Hag.
This is like a similar thing with, like, robots.
Humph. I was once larger, 10 feet tall. Then the loathsome hag complained that I couldn't fit through the doors. So the mage had me shrunk down. Can it believe it? And she still wanted me out.
How does someone shrink a golem?
With a chisel. And a lot of nerve.
I would have thought you'd enjoyed scaring humans.
I'd have happily stomped them all into paste. And then ripped down their little houses and stomped on them, too. In fact, after 30 years of watching them, I'd do it twice. What I didn't like was being ordered to do it. Dangled in front of those frightened morons like some scary thing. Once I was a statue, it took those villagers years before they'd even approach me. The first one to actually work up the nerve to touch me urinated himself.
Do you remember anything else before Honleith?
I traveled with the mage. He did a lot of traveling, I remember that. But where we went, it is rather fuzzy. I remember great battles, fighting many humans long ago. They were all very soft and squishy. And before that, No, there are only images. I was somewhere dark.
We'll have to end it here. In the next episode, we're going to ask some more questions to Shale and then hopefully get to talk to Win. See ya.